while I was here, the last round was announced, so I don't know what they are because I was here. But, and the next round, the submissions are due in June, so that's an ongoing process.
I appreciate the acknowledgement there, but also that the importance of these things, I'm surprised it lasted the last typhoon we had just a couple of weeks ago. So, and the process of building a crane takes, I don't know, you have an idea? I think it's two years or more.
Yes.
So just to get going, we got to get it going quickly. I really appreciate if you put priority on for Guam because of our Indo-PACOM mission. It'd be most appreciated, and we'll be sure to follow the regulations on making sure this gets through correctly with the approval of MIRAT.
Sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman.
I now recognize Ms. Gillen, and I hope I pronounced that right.
You did. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm proud to represent the men and women of Coast Guard Station Jones Beach in my district, the 4th Congressional District of New York. I support increased funding for the Coast Guard and all of our maritime services, including the U.S. Merchant Marines. Nassau County is home to the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York, one of our nation's 5 service academies. For more than 80 years, the Merchant Marine Academy has been the pride of Long Island, preparing generations of Americans to serve our country and strengthen our maritime and national security. As you may know, the Academy's campus is in dire need of investment and upgrades. Last December, I wrote a letter to the chairman and ranking member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee asking them to organize a visit for members to come to the campus and to evaluate this need for updates and modernization. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer this letter into the record. I'd like to offer something into the record. Thank you. So I'm grateful to Chairman Graves and Ranking Member Larson and Secretary Duffy for heeding my call and organizing a trip to Kings Point. Tomorrow, my colleagues and I will have the chance to tour the campus and speak with the Academy leadership to see firsthand what we can do to support our midshipmen. I'm proud also to lead a bipartisan legislation introduced by my colleague from Long Island, Representative Andrew Garbarino, to authorize more than $1 billion for a full-scale campus modernization of the Academy. I'm glad Secretary Duffy and the Trump administration have made it a priority to help secure these much-needed upgrades. I'm also glad that the text and funding provided by our bill has been included in the Ships for America Act. So, getting to my question, Administrator Carmel, can you explain how the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy is critical to our defense readiness and a strong commercial maritime industry? And specifically, how the funding provided in our bill will help MARAD and the Academy implement their modernization plan?
Thank you, Congresswoman. The graduates of Kings Point, of which I proudly am one, so I'm an alumni, occupy critical positions in industry, and then, of course, provide, most importantly, officers for the ships and the strategic sea lift officers that are necessary in times of conflict. So, as a source of manpower, both ashore and afloat, Kings Point is a critical source of labor for them. Kings Point itself, in order to attract the right level of talent, we certainly need the right level of infrastructure. You can't attract decent kids to a school that is in disarray. You also can't attract decent faculty to a school that's in disarray. We should never forget that the primary output of Kings Point is what's between the ears of the kids that walk through the gate. And so faculty is important in this. And so the necessary funding, it goes a long way to rectifying the poor material condition of the school, which is hard to study, it's hard to attract the right kids, and it's hard to attract the right faculty. So those are essential things to getting Kings Point back on track.
Thank you so much, and I hope we can work together to make sure that we see the modernization realized at the school. So in February, the administration released its Maritime Action Plan detailing the administration's actions and recommendations for rebuilding shipbuilding capacity, reforming the workforce, protecting the maritime industrial base, and strengthening national security. One recommendation that caught my attention was for the use of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies to expand domestic shipbuilding capacity. Rear Admiral Campbell, how is the Coast Guard currently integrating AI and other technologies into their shipbuilding acquisition and design? And what additional resources or guidance from Congress would help the Coast Guard to fully leverage AI in a safe and responsible way in its procurement and design process?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. I would say we're probably at the early stages of finding how we're going to integrate AI into our shipbuilding process. It is definitely a priority for the service to lean forward with all kinds of technology, AI being one of them. I would say, in the early stages, ways that we've demonstrated use already are somewhat, maybe on the smaller end, but in preparing a lot of the planning documentation and kind of the administrative work that goes with that, using AI to help formulate that and finalize that does reduce staff time and has helped already. But we do need to press further into the actual design phase and working with our naval architects and firms and shipyards around the nation to integrate AI into the design, as well as into helping to optimize production and how the ships are actually built in the shipyard.
Thank you so much. My time has expired and I yield back.
Thank you. I now recognize the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Bergman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see all of you again. Administrator Carmel, the Jones Act is the fundamental law of the U.S. Great Lakes maritime industry, which runs directly through and around my district from the mines of Michigan and Minnesota on Lake Superior to the steel mills to the south on the Great Lakes. It is also the fundamental law for transportation of stone and other commodities on Great Lakes lakers. This is the most American of American industries, moving U.S. raw materials on American ships with American crews to American domestic manufacturing and other facilities. I strongly encourage the administration to use Jones Act waivers only when necessary and keep any Jones Act waiver as narrow and short and as limited as possible. I am hopeful that this waiver will not be extended. As we have talked about, and everybody here who has asked questions, the need for more trained mariners here in our country. It's time for us to balance that. We know it'll be a balancing act based on times. In light of the recent U.S. actions affecting Venezuelan crude exports, including the U.S. Coast Guard's physical control over the cargo aboard seized tankers, the State Department's role in arranging the sale of that cargo, and proceeds being held in accounts controlled by the